The notification for CMAT 2024 came out a few days ago. So in this video, we are going to take you through the entire form filling process in detail. So pay close attention and make sure that you take in all the details so that you do not make any mistakes while filling out the form. Now on the screen, you can see the important dates that you need to take into account if you're appearing for CMAT 2024. This is something that you will also find in the CMAT information bulletin. So as you can see, there is a specific website that you have to go to. It is highlighted in blue. We will show you the website one more time. The form filling and the registration process started on the 29th of March, but what is more important for you is to know that 18th of April is the last date. It would be a good idea not to wait till the 18th because a lot of times we have seen that on the last day, the website does not really function as we would like it to. So please make sure that you fill out the form in advance. Now, the fee will depend on the category that you fall into or that you have chosen. So please take into account that you fill in the correct category because the money that you will pay will obviously be different. Now, certain things have not yet been decided. For example, downloading of admit cards is going to be announced later. So will the date of the exam. We know that it will happen in May, but they have not yet told us the exact dates. Of course, there is going to be a correction window between the 19th to the 21st of April. So once the form filling date ends, there will be some time that will be allowed to candidates to correct any mistakes that they may have made. But let's not worry about that right now. Let's try and get the process right the first time. As you can see on the screen, the duration of the exam is going to be 180 minutes or 3 hours. Just like the previous years, there will be 5 sections, including the section on innovation and entrepreneurship. Each section will have 20 questions, making it 100 questions in total. Each question will carry 4 marks, which means that you can get up to a total of 400 marks if you get all the questions right, but there is negative marking. There will be -1 for every incorrect answer. But let's get to that a little bit later. For now, let's focus on the form. The timing of the exam is yet to be announced. The exam center will be displayed on the admit card. So this again, of course, you will find out later. And as you can see, the declaration of result is also going to be announced at a later date. So some of the details are already there, and these are the ones that you need to pay attention to. Make sure that you fill the form ahead of time before the 18th of April and go through the entire video before you start filling up the form. This is the website that you need to visit in order to start the form filling process. And when you click on this link or you put this into your browser, this is the page that you will see. As you can see, the registration window is live. So if you click on the latest news where it says click here to register or log in, then it will take you to the next page where you will be able to start the form filling process. Once you click on the register or login link, this is what will appear on the screen. Now here there are 2 options for candidates. As you can see, if you're a new candidate, then you need to register first, which will involve putting in a few details. But if you have already registered, then you would already have an application number and a password. So if you're revisiting this page, perhaps to check your form or edit certain details or maybe to pay the fee, then you should enter your application number as well as the password. For now, we are going to look at how to create a new registration because we have not made one yet. When you click on New Candidate Registration, which is this particular button here, then it will take you to another page. So let's see what happens next. Now here you can see that there is a section that is asking you to download the information bulletin right here. So when you click on this, you will in fact download a pretty lengthy document. It's a good idea to go through most of it, although you do not need to read all of it while filling the form. I would advise you to download it, keep it, and read it at your leisure. What you do need to do, however, is to read the information presented on this particular page. So, for example, it says that you should download the information bulletin and the replica of the application form. So, apart from this form filling video, if you want to see how the application form is going to proceed, the information bulletin actually has screenshots of the entire application form. The entire registration process is online, so you don't really need to send anything to anyone. You have to, however, have certain things ready before you start filling out the form. So you should definitely have a digital photograph. You should also have your signature, again, a digital copy of it. There are some size requirements, which we will explain to you in a bit. In addition to that, please have your Aadhaar card ready in case you don't want to use your Aadhaar card or don't have it. You can also use other forms of identification such as your PAN card. So whatever identification you plan to use, please ensure that you have it ready because you will need to put in that number when you're filling out the form. Furthermore, you definitely need to have an email ID of your own, something that you check consistently. Please do not use someone else's email ID. Please do not use an email ID that has a strange name. In case you feel you need to create one, go ahead and do that now. Also ensure that you have a phone number that you use consistently. Please do not change your phone number. If possible, try to also have an alternate phone number ready in case there is something that goes wrong with the one that you're using. So all of these details can be filled out in the form. Furthermore, you will have to pay the fee, but in case you don't want to pay the fee today, it's all right. You can fill in the form and you can take a look at it on another day before you make the entire payment. Please note that once you pay the fee and you submit the form, then you will not be able to edit any further details until the editing window opens, which, if you recall, is from the 19th till the 21st. So now let's look at what else this page contains. Now, as you can see, it tells you what is the fee that will be applicable to you depending on the category that you choose for yourself. The fee that will be displayed at the end will depend on what you choose right at the beginning. So make sure that you choose the category correctly. Once you're done filling out the entire form and you see the confirmation page, you will also receive an application number. Please ensure that you keep a copy of this confirmation page for future reference. You will also be prompted to create a password and a security question and answer. So please make sure that you jot down these details as well, because if you forget and you need to generate a new password, it's fairly painful. So let's try to avoid those hassles, which means keep some pen and paper handy to jot down any other important information that you may need to access in the future. Once you come to the end of the page, you will see that you need to put a check mark against this box. I have downloaded the information bulletin of CMAT 2024. As I said, you can read the information bulletin at your leisure, but please do read it. And once you are fairly certain that you have understood the instructions on this page, please put a check mark here. And of course, then you can click here to proceed. So let's do that now. On this page, as you can see, you need to choose the form of identification that you're going to use. It can be your Aadhaar card or your Aadhaar number, or it could be your PAN number. Whatever it is, make sure that you have that card or that number in front of you so that you can enter it correctly. So for example, if I say that I have an Aadhaar number, it will prompt me for an Aadhaar number right here. In case I don't want to use that and I say I have a PAN card, then you have to enter the PAN card number. So once you enter the number, then you will be given an OTP that will be sent to your phone. You have to enter that OTP and then you can proceed to the next page. Once the OTP is verified, then it will bring you to this page where you have to fill in your personal details. Now, sometimes it might take a while for the OTP to be visible on your phone. So for example, when I was trying to fill in this form, I had to wait for about 5 minutes. So just be patient and it will ultimately work. So once you come to this page, you will find that your Aadhaar details have been pre-filled in case you have used your Aadhaar number. In case you have used some other ID, then you will see some different details. Now this will show everything correctly, but it is just a good idea to ensure that it is in fact what it should be. When you scroll down, you will be required to fill in some personal details. Again, your name will be pre-filled. Make sure that it appears as it should. After that, you will be required to fill in your parents' or your guardian's details. So let's take a look at what you really need to do here. Now, as you can see, all of the fields are mandatory, so you cannot really skip anything. I have put in some fictional details. Make sure that you're putting in the right details for yourselves. So the candidate's name should appear automatically. You need to fill in your father's or guardian's name, mother's or guardian's name. The date of birth ideally should also reflect because that will be linked to your Aadhaar number. You can pick the gender. It gives you 3 choices if you take a look at it: male, female, and third gender. Again, please do remember that the fee that you will be required to fill does depend on your choice of gender. So here I have said female. The identity type, again, is something that you have to choose from a drop-down menu. So for example, let's say that if I want to use my Aadhaar card again, I don't really see an option for that. So I might want to say any other valid government ID with photograph. But if you want to use your ration card, passport, PAN card, you can choose any of these. Just make sure that it has a photograph on it. That's the important point. So for example, let's say that I have chosen this. It will prompt you to enter the number of that photo ID, which you need to enter here. So here, let me just fill in some details and see if I can move forward. Of course, make sure that you don't do something like this. Fill in the correct details for yourselves, and then you can move on. In the next part, it will ask you for your current residential address or your present address. So make sure that you get the details right. Of course, most of the fields are mandatory here, so you do need to fill in something into each box. The premises where you live, the locality, the sub-locality is optional, so you don't really need to fill in everything there. The country, state, district, of course, I'm sure you'll figure out. In case you're unsure about the PIN code, just check that one so that you don't get the PIN code incorrect. After that, you do need to fill in your email ID. Again, make sure that it is the email ID that you use and that you check very frequently, because all the important information will be sent to this email ID. Once you have typed your email ID and confirmed it, you also need to put in your mobile number. So again, I have put in some fictional details here. Confirm the mobile number. There is a choice of an alternate number as well, but that is not mandatory. So it's something that you can take a call on. Now here you can see that you are being asked for your permanent address. So if you have the same permanent address as your current one, you can simply check this box and all the details will be copied. If your permanent address is different, then of course you can put in those different details. It doesn't matter either way, just put in whatever is correct for yourself. Now this part is fairly important because you are supposed to choose your own password, and there are some restrictions on the kind of passwords you need to have in terms of how many characters, letters, numbers, etc. So please make sure that you read those instructions right before you start filling out the form. You will find the same details in the information bulletin if you go through it. So just make sure that you write down your password somewhere, because you will have to probably revisit this website, and then you don't want to have to click on forgot password. It takes more time. It's just easier to write it down and make sure that you remember where you have written it down. You also need to choose a security question. If I click on this drop down option, it gives me two choices: the name of your first school and what is your birth city. Now, in case you don't really know or remember, it's fine. As long as you remember what the question was and what the answer is, it should be okay. So let's say that I choose this as my question. I can enter whatever answer I want. For example, I can put in this. Now for yourselves, make sure that you put in either the correct answer, because the truth is very easy to remember, or if you don't actually remember your birth city or your school, just write down the answer somewhere right next to your password so that it's easily available in case you need it. At the end of it, you just need to write the same number that you see on the screen, that's your security pin or CAPTCHA, and you say submit. So once you submit, these details will be saved, so you don't have to fill it in the next time. After you click on submit, it will bring you to a page where all the details are displayed. You simply need to go through them and make sure that you've not made any mistakes. It says very clearly that you have to verify all the particulars that you have entered on the previous page. And once you verify them, you simply need to check these boxes. So don't just check them, in fact, do verify. And then at the end of it, you simply need to check this box that says, I agree. At this stage, if you feel that there is something you need to change, or if you made a mistake, even if it's a spelling error, please make sure that you click on this edit registration form option and go back and change those details. If all is well, then you can simply click on submit and send OTP, which means that there will be another OTP that you have to wait for. Enter that OTP before you can go to the next stage. Please note that the OTP is in fact sent to your email ID. So please check your email ID. Don't stare at your phone for this one. And it is going to be a 4-digit number, which you need to enter here. Once you enter it, enter the security PIN, and then again say verify. Once the OTP is verified, then you should see this particular message displayed on the screen. As you can see, it needs you to go back to your email address. You have to then log into the application portal using the application number and the password. So over here, click on OK. go back to your email and then log in to continue the process. When you log back in using the details that were sent to your email ID, you need to ensure that you enter the password correctly. Again, that is why it's very important that you write that password down, because you will have to keep using it. So once you log back in successfully, you will see this particular page. Now your registration is complete. All you need to do is to fill in the application form and make the payment. So as you can see, it tells you that these are the 2 steps that are still left. So I'm now going to click on this application button and I'm going to start filling in the application. These are all the details that you need to fill. So we'll start with the contact details, move on to the personal details, and so on. Let's get started with the contact details. When you get to the contact details, you will see that most of your details have been pre-filled because we entered all of this information when we were registering. So again, just make sure that the information is correct. And when you scroll down, it will ask you whether your permanent address is the same as your present address. If it is, you simply need to check a particular box. Let's take a look at that. So as you can see, if the details are exactly the same, you simply need to tick this box here and you're done with your contact details page. You can enter the security PIN, say I agree, and then you can move on to the next stage. In the personal details section, you will see that some of your details are pre-filled because we have already entered this information. But there is some information that you will have to fill in here. For example, it will ask you for your state or union territory of residence. So you can select accordingly. After that, it will again ask you for your place of residence. So here, you just have to select between urban and rural. So again, whatever applies to you. This question is important. If you are diabetic, then please say yes, because then you will be allowed to carry certain food items such as maybe juice or something else into the test center so that the exam experience is not uncomfortable for you. Furthermore, you will see that you have to select the category. So select accordingly because the fee will depend on this. Your identification number is going to be as per whatever you have selected earlier. So it should be pre-filled. If you are a PWD candidate, please select accordingly. And then it will ask you for your annual income, annual family income, not necessarily yours. So please select the right kind of details. And after that, at the end of every section, you have to tick a particular box that says I agree and click on Save and Next. So let's take a look at what that looks like. As you can see, this is a common feature for every section. You have to enter the CAPTCHA or the security PIN. You have to check this box that says I agree. And you have to say Save and Next. In case you want to go back to the previous section, you can simply say back, or you can click on that section itself. Now here you have to select the exam center, which will be most convenient for you. All of the fields here are mandatory, so you do have to specify your choice in all of them. For example, you are applying for CMAT 2024. There is no other choice here. Exam state, first choice. So I think the state will be the same for most people. You can pick whatever state you are resident in or whatever state you plan to take the exam in. And of course, you have to select the exam city as well. For the second choice, you can select the same state or a different one, whatever is convenient for you, and so on. You have to give them at least about 4 choices. And then it also asks you about your guardian's qualifications. So let me just show you what the remaining details are. So after you have filled in the details with regard to your exam center choices, you have to fill in your father guardian's qualification, their occupation, your mother's or guardian's qualification and their occupation. And then of course you have the CAPTCHA. You have to check this box that says I agree before you can click on Save and Next. And once you do that, then you can move on to the qualification details. When you come to the qualification details stage, please make sure that you have your documents for your 10th and 12th because you need those details to fill out this form. As you can see, you have to fill in the pass status, which for most of us is going to be passed because otherwise you would not be filling out the form for CMAT. The year of passing, the qualifying exam, which for almost everyone is going to be 10th or equivalent, plus there is no other choice. The place of schooling is something that you have to select. So if you take a look, it does not actually ask you for the place. It just asks you for whether it was urban or rural, so you can select accordingly. The type of school or college, so decide whether your school was a government school, whether it was a KV, whether it was a private school and so on. So select that option accordingly. The qualifying examination state. Now here, in case you have studied outside of India, that choice is also there. In case you're not able to find your board, then you can simply click on others and specify the board also. Furthermore, you will need your roll number or enrollment number as per your 10th certificate. That is why that certificate needs to be handy. The name of the school and the address, and it also asks you for the PIN code. So in case you don't have the PIN code, you can always look it up. It's available online. Just make sure that you fill in the details to the best of your ability. As you scroll down on this page, you will have to fill in similar details for 12th as well. So again, the pass status for most of us is going to be passed. You need to again fill in the year of passing, the type of school or college, the qualifying state. So this is very similar to the details that you enter for 10th. After this, of course, you need the details for graduation. So let's take a look at that. Now here, when you click on pass status, you get two choices, passed or appearing. If you have not completed graduation, then please pick appearing. In case you have a few backlogs and the final result is not there, again, please click appearing. So let's say that if I click on passed, then I would also have to specify when I passed. But even if I pick appearing, you still need to indicate the year in which you're going to graduate. So either way, you need to select something for this particular box, passing year or appearing. The qualifying exam, depending on what it is, please select the right option. In case you do not find the right option, you can always select other and then specify what the qualifying exam is. The name of the board and university. Again, in case you cannot find your board or university, you can always specify what it is over here. So the form is fairly simple. There isn't too much that presents difficulty. At the end of it, as usual, there is a CAPTCHA. You have to check this box that says, I agree. Only after you do this and click on Save and Next does it actually save the details. However, in case you don't want to save the details, you can always go to the next section. Once you're past the qualification details page, the rest of it is fairly simple, as long as you have a digital photograph and signature. Please check the size here. The minimum size is 10 KB and the maximum is 200. In case your picture is heavier, you can always reduce the size. One of the ways that people do it is to simply WhatsApp that image to someone and it seems to reduce the size. But in case you want to be more certain, there are multiple websites. For example, you can use Reduce Images or Resize Pixel. We will be providing some links in the description box as well. So once you're done uploading your photo or signature, then life is fairly simple. You just need to go to the final submit. Once you've uploaded your signature and your photograph, the last step or one of the last steps that you need to do is to verify your mobile number. So once you click on this particular link, again, it will send you an OTP and then you need to enter that OTP to verify your mobile number. And once you're done with that, then it will take you to the final submit. After you submitted that OTP and it has been verified, it will show you again that your application form is incomplete. So when you click on application, it will display this page and you will see that the final submit is incomplete. When you scroll down, it will tell you to complete your application by clicking on this particular button. So let's click on this. Now, as you can see, it says, please review the following before the final submit, and it should also tell you that your mobile number is verified. In any case, if it is not verified, it will not let you move ahead. So look at all the details. It's always good to verify it double or triple number of times so that there are no hassles later on. Once all the details have been verified, you simply need to click on Final Submit. Now, this is a very important button to click here. Make sure that you have done all the requisite work before you do this. Once you click on Final Submit, again, it will ask you to verify. So the number of times it is asking you to verify is not funny. But by this time, you should be sure that everything is in order. So you simply need to check all these boxes. Click on I agree and then say Final Submit. So it will tell you your application form has been submitted successfully. You click on OK. And then, as you can see, the next step is to pay the fee. So the fee that is displayed here is again going to be based on the category that you have selected. It will show you 2,000 or 1,000. You need to click on Pay Now and you will be done. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. Please ensure that you watch the complete video once before you start filling out the form. Also, make sure that you have all the requisite documents for 10th, 12th, and graduation. Also, make sure that you have a digital photograph and a signature handy so that you don't have to keep getting up in the middle of your form filling. Wish you all the best.